The library's open. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, you. Oh, I'm trying to light my incense. It's super windy. Ah, how you doing today? Happy Tuesday. Here we go. Come on. When don't fail me now. Ah, what's up? What's up? Happy Tuesday. It's windy here, but the sun is out, so I'm happy. And it was a chill day for me. I didn't have too much running around to do, so I was able to sit. I carry this heavy book bag everywhere. And I did some researching. I did some prayer, of course. I did some writing and some reading. And then I had to do an errand, pick up some stuff for my daughter. And I was waiting for the library to open. It just opened. But I'm going to sit out here and do my live now. And so you got me for an hour. 2 o'clock, I'm going to go in, charge my phone, and I'm going to chill for another hour and a half. And woohoo. But I got 10 milli, my 10 milli into Alec carrying with me because I'm burning it every day in my room. And then I was like, Dad, when I'm out and when it's nice, when I'm reading or whatever, or when I'm walking, I could be burning my incense. So I got my incense going. Let me put it down somewhere. What's up, Eric? How are you? How you feeling today? What is your thing with the beautiful hands? I said over, I just like being all natural. Every day I do be feeling like I want to paint my nails, and then it's too universal now. So I feel like the more natural I could be, the more I stand out. So how you feeling today? Happy Tuesday. Let me give you some good energy. All right, I want it to blow near me, not near my dress. Oh, so if anyone's getting on and you see some smoke, it's from my incense, not me. But I wanted to talk about a few things pertaining about how people treat you is exactly how they feel about you. And I went through a lot of hard lessons to really grasp and understand that. Oh, thank you, Eric. That's so sweet. I appreciate the compliments. I try to just embrace who I am, embrace my natural, authentic self. And the more that people add on and the more that things become universal and mixed together and there's no differentiating between women and men and all that stuff, the more natural I just want to be. But I do appreciate your comment. And I'm glad that I'm exuding confidence and attractiveness. I like that. So, yeah, it took me a really long time to really grasp and understand that you have to pay attention to people's actions and not their words, because people can talk a good game, they can have gift of gab, and if their actions aren't following through, then don't waste time waiting for their actions to catch up with their words, because a lot of people are actors, and a lot of people are never planning to become or embody into this vision or dream or lifestyle or whatever it is that they're selling you. Eric, I started to think you have a hand fetish. I guess I talk with my hands and I don't know if that's good or not. I'm taking some side note. I'm taking some Toastmaster classes, and so they talk about virtually people should see your hands to feel comfortable. So I'm glad that you like my hands. Like, you gassing me up today. Um, yes. So for me, I have been a really bad example is I give people too much time to prove to me that they're not going to live up to their words, that they're not a person of their word, and that what they were just saying to me was to kind of breadcrumb me, or the new terminology, gaslight me, manipulate me. Like I give too much people too much time in order for me to pick myself up and walk away and understand my worth and my value. It took me a really long time. There's a quote that I like to say, which is life gives us all a rope, and it is up to you to either help yourself or hang yourself. And so that's what I do with people. Like I see what they're gonna do with the rope, because I use my rope to help myself and to help others. And then I get people that want to act like they want to climb up the rope of success together, and meanwhile they're cutting mine or burning mine. You know what I'm saying? So okay. So I had a really hard master class just in my last relationship of, wow, I just gave this person too much time to play in my face, and I gave this person too much time to show me exactly who he was, and more importantly, show me exactly how he felt about me. And I did my live yesterday speaking about how my weekend went. And one thing that I didn't get to cover was something that I seen at the park. I went to the park with my daughter, and on Sunday we went to a different park. I hadn't been to that park in a really long time. And the second we got there, there was, oh, so right now I'm sitting on like these bleacher picnic tables. And at that park, they have the same bleacher picnic tables. And as we were walking up, you could see there was a guy, it was a family, it was a guy sitting on top of the table right here with his back. Like we're walking up, so I could see his back, and then a little baby right here, and then their other two daughters. And then the lady was standing in front, but something was going on with one of the other kids. So she turned, like I seen this all happen. She turned to, say something to the kid. And then the baby that was sitting next to the dad literally fell on the floor and was under the table screaming. I mean, she had to be no more than 8, 9 months. And he just sat there. So I was like, oh my gosh, that little baby fell. So I was trying to come up to see if they were okay. As I was coming up, though, I had to pause because I felt like I was watching myself and my journey in motherhood like flash before my eyes. So I'm seeing the baby sitting there crying under the table. And this man never got up. He never got off the table. He never checked on the kid. And he told the mom, he's like, oh, the baby's under the table crying. And she started having a panic attack. And she went and like scooped her up, and she was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Like giving her kisses or stuff like this. This man never looked up off his phone, never said nothing. So she was in a state of like shock, checking on the baby. And then I could see her get so irritated. And she was like, are you not gonna help me? And he said nothing. And so she was like, let's go, like get the kids, we're leaving right now. This is ridiculous. Like, you didn't pick her up, you're like waiting for me. So they're having like a little banter. And he never got off the table. He never got off the table. He never got on his phone. She asked him to get the other girls and to start gathering them so they could leave the park. He didn't do anything. And then we were just standing there, and we were with some other people. So they were talking to me, but I was listening, but I was watching this because I was like, wow, this guy is reminding me of my quantum. Like this, this is your kid, and you're not attending to your kid. You're attending to this damn phone, and then you're not helping getting the other kids so that we could like keep it moving. He would not get off his phone and help her, or let alone help his kids. Like that, I was like, wow, I'm feeling really sorry for this lady. And then you could see she literally had to calm the baby down, get the baby in the stroller, and then go one by one and get the other kids. They had four girls. Men have a lot of girls for a reason. And like you're not learning a lesson, God will keep showing you through the kids that you have. Um, that's just a side note. But so she went, and you can see she's visibly frustrated. And I'm literally, I felt like I was just watching myself. And I mean, I only have one daughter, but and I've had so many scenarios like this in my motherhood journey. So she went and got the kids one by one, and then they were getting ready to go off, and she was like, "Gosh, could you help me? Like, push the stroller." And he literally didn't say nothing to her. He just started walking ahead of her. So you can see her. She's getting the bags. She's got the other kids. She's trying to help them hold on to the stroller while she pushed. And as she's pushing, he's just walking. He's like 20 steps ahead of her on his phone, head down, not like vividly frustrated. Probably, oh, he didn't want to come to the park. Probably he don't want to be bothered with her. He don't want to be bothered with these kids. And he just want to be doing whatever it is he's doing in his phone or hanging with his bros or whatever. I don't know them personally, but I definitely see myself. And as I'm watching them leave, she's screaming at him like, "Please, like, help me! Like, what's going on? Like, I need help with these kids. I can't push the stroller. I can't carry all these bags." And then he got mad and came and took the stroller from her. And they started walking dumb fast. And I was like, oh, snap. I said like a prayer for this lady. I don't know her. And I didn't intervene. Like, we live here in Massachusetts. So sometimes people like mind your business kind of thing. But I was like, this man clearly doesn't like this lady, clearly doesn't like his kids, clearly doesn't give two F's about this girl and these kids. And I was having a flashback to just all the stories that I've had and hard lessons. And it took for me to almost lose my life and lose my daughter for me to snap out of it and say, wow, this person really doesn't like me. They have ill will towards me and their child that we share together. And if I don't make a move, if I don't protect myself and more importantly my daughter, I don't know what the next thing will be. I don't know what the next outrage will be. I don't know what the next interaction will be. I don't know if I'll make it through the day, let alone the minutes or the hours or the seconds. So as I was watching that, I was having flashbacks. And then here in my notebook, I have not looked at the list in a while, but I've brung some stuff up off of the list. I'll have to try to find it. So if you don't know, for me personally, I've had a lot of experiences with people treating me exactly how they feel about me. But because I don't have any ill will or I don't have any, like, I don't play mind games, I don't try to manipulate people, and I don't operate on a quid pro quo basis. Like, I'm not doing something for somebody else to do me a favor. I'm not going to do nothing for them. I'm just naturally a giver. I'm naturally empathetic. I'm naturally loving. And there's a lot of people that want to feed off of that until they they starve you in a sense and leave you with nothing, like leeches and parasites. And so it took me up until this relationship to really be like, wow, I've dealt with the same kind of person, just in a different body and a different, both men and women. And I'm like, oh, this is why I've had a life of suffering, because I was not able to fully identify. And I could read between the lines. I could see stuff that was there, but I give people too many excuses, too much benefit of the doubt, and too much chances of me trying to love them more, to get them to respect me or to give me the same love back. And honestly, it wasn't probably since having a daughter. My daughter helped me have that backbone and to help me give her the love that I've been looking to receive from everyone else that takes advantage of me and puts me in these predicaments where when I connect with them, they're low level, they have nothing, and then they connect with me and they siphon my energy and they siphon my resources, they siphon my power, and then I'm left depleted and they got everything they've learned from me, and then they move on, and I'm like, damn, like, what happened? So in this situation, this has been probably the worst situation And I wanted to, something I started doing right before I ran away at the beginning of the year in the middle of the night with me and my daughter. Something I started doing in the house was I started taking a list. I started making a list of all the things that this person who claimed that they loved me, cared about our child, wanted to cause me no harm, wanted to see me win, see us win. I started to keep a list of the things that, oh, I wrote a poem. Maybe I'll read that. I wrote a poem about, side note, I wrote a poem about how I couldn't compete with this man and his phone. And I just found it. And maybe let me know if you want me to read it. It's pretty interesting. I write poetry also, but I want to find the list because I was at the beginning of the year I was heavily reading the list and I'm like, wow, India, you should have been walked away. You should have, like, this person was not even showing, he was telling you. And why did you feel the need to keep track of it? Like, how, what did you need to happen? Like, I needed to happen for me to like almost lose my life, literally, I guess, for me to come to my senses and really learn, like, okay, I got to the point where I don't need you to physically say it, verbally say it. That's what I was waiting, and I was just like collecting as many things as I could collect. And now I can't find it. But let me know if you want me to read the poem. I never read this stuff to anybody. What's up, Keith? How are you doing today? Like, where is the list? When I'm not looking for it, I stumble across it, and it honestly makes my stomach hurt. But I'm like, I spent 11 years with some person that I really don't know who they were because they were acting the entire time. And when you're acting, you can't be authentic or genuine. Eventually, you're gonna meet the real them. But when I reflect on stuff, I'm like, I kind of pretty much made him who I wanted him to be in my head. Like, he never really switched or became somebody else. He was always who he was. I have a bad habit of putting people on a pedestal. I Let me rephrase that. I had a bad habit of putting people on a pedestal and giving them too much credit and believing in their potential more more than their personality and and their character. God, where is the list? And when I seen that at the park, I was like, oh, I'm gonna share my list. So here it is. I wrote a list that said this. I'm not gonna say his name, but this is what my conjurum said to me. The mother of his daughter, the love of his life, his wife, his lady, his love, his friend, his business partner, dot, dot, dot. Number one, which is number one, your voice is annoying. Number two, I wish you would just shut up. Number three, I wish you would just get out of here. Number four, get out. I don't want to be with you. Number five, you're weird. Number six, I'm done with this relationship. Number seven, I want out of this relationship. Number eight, I don't want to be in this house with you. Number nine, this is a storage unit, not a house. Number 10, I don't want to fix this. Number 11, I was mad at you for leaving because I couldn't catch plays like when you were here. Number 12, I needed you to hurry up and come back home so you could take care of this girl. She's a lot. Number 13, you're nagging me. And then in parentheses, I asked him, how am I nagging you? Because I was so confused about him saying that I was nagging him because all I did was talk to him about money. He's money hungry and he's obsessed with money, and talk about us getting back to building our business that hit a plateau. And I was the only one keeping it afloat. And he was my business partner who just left me hanging for a long time. and also holding him accountable to him saying that he wanted to be a family man and he was not helping me at all with our daughter. So when I asked him how am I nagging him, what's his definition, and he told me his definition of me nagging him is me trying to make him do the things he doesn't want to do. And then I put interesting in capital letters, exclamation, exclamation. And then I just decided to stop keeping track. There was way more things. This list, I had to say that this list was literally at the end. This was right before he locked me up. And then a lot of the things that are on here, the your voice is annoying and I wish you would shut up. He said that to me the night before he had me locked up. And then everything else on the list was months after I had came back and nothing was changing and things were getting worse. And I just started documenting everything because I was like, I'm not safe here. I had felt and knew that I wasn't safe. And that's what I'm saying. I gave too much time. I gave too much time to prove to me what I had already been feeling for several years, to prove to me. And then I wanted to hear it. But before I heard it, I seen it. I felt it. I experienced it. And so I was just like, that's why I say I come in here and I take accountability. And I say I'll eat the L. I just wanted to share that because I want to help somebody else not have to get to this point, this level of me keeping an entire journal, documenting in it of to have proof of somebody not loving me and somebody treating me exactly how they felt about me and me holding on to what they said in the beginning or how it was in the beginning or the things that they promised or trying to make them be a person of their word, trying to make them be a person of their character. And if I could go back, I would have walked away from him and a lot of other people a lot earlier. You don't know what you don't know until you know. So when I know stuff, I like to use it as a teachable moment to help other people condense time and save themselves from going through things that are traumatic that can be really difficult to bounce back from if you're not strong. If you're not stronger, you don't have real rhyme or reason. If it wasn't for my daughter, I most definitely probably would still be there begging, bleeding to be like, you said this and you said that. And when are you going to start living up to it? Why are you treating me like this? And why are you being mean? And why are you putting your hands on me? Blah, 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 blah. Like, we be wanting to know the why when most 9 times out of 10, we already know the why because their behavior and then their actions. So we go through that, especially as women, we see the behaviors and we ignore them. And then we'll feel the actions and we'll ignore them. And then we want to verbally hear it for everything to click. And I just want to save somebody else to not like get to that point. So when I seen that lady at the park, I was like, wow, um, she's struggling. And here's this person who's supposed to be your partner, the father of your kids. Like, you didn't even pick your own baby off the ground. The baby fell. The baby was sitting next to him on the table. And I literally watched the baby fall. And he didn't jump up. He didn't console. He didn't grab. He didn't do nothing. And it reminded me of this man trying to explain to me that he doesn't have that motherly instinct and that, oh, he doesn't have boobs, like you got to pick her up because you have boobs and they're going to want to feel the comfort. I don't have that. It was like excuse after excuse after excuse as to why you're not showing up, why you're not being this person that you pretend to be. And like, my heart really went out to this lady because I mean, you're in it 4 kids deep. And sometimes that makes the situation more hard. I was just with one kid, so I could just imagine if I had multiple kids, how much harder it would to be like to snap out of that. And I could see her visibly frustrated. I could see that she probably deals with that every day, all day. And I hope that something simple can free her from that and not have to go through a traumatic life altering experience like I did. And one another thing I wanted to share today is today I applied to go on the Wheel of Fortune, the show, and I went to apply on there, and then one of the questions that they had was, or one of the comments on the application was to share with us something about yourself that we wouldn't be able to tell just by looking at you. And I thought about a bunch of things to write because I just have had a life of crazy experiences. But what I ended up writing was I have one ovary and one fallopian tube. And it was prominent for me to put that because this is the month of October, and in 2017 on October 26th, I lost. Like I've wanted to show for this relationship, but I've tried several times, and I lost a baby in a very traumatic way, which left me in a situation where I had to have immediate surgery to remove the baby, and it left me with one ovary and one fallopian tube. And sometimes I still struggle with that because I feel like that was a sign for God to trying to get me away from that person at that time. But I didn't view it that way. But I brung something that brung up for me today was, here is a person I went through so many traumatic experiences, and this person continued to show me who they were because they weren't there for me and life altering situations, and then they created a life altering situation that I almost lost my life and lost my daughter. So at that point in time where I lost a kid carrying for him in a very traumatic way that like sometimes still wakes me up at night because the baby blew up in my stomach, in my on my side, and that's something I still feel. That's something that I start thinking about at this time of the year. And so I thought about that because I always am reminded that I went into surgery, and when I woke up he wasn't there. And another funny thing is like I started thinking about my family, and I remember when that happened, I remember I called my mom crying like hysterical, and I was like, "Oh, I'm getting ready to go in and have like surgery, and there's a chance that I might not be able to become a mom. Like they said that it has caused a lot of damage, and they're gonna have to remove stuff." And my mom literally was just like, "Give it to God," and like got off the phone with me. And I remember texting my sister, and she was just like, "Okay." And my brother never responded. And so when I had woke up from surgery, my sister was actually there. So my sister did come to console me. In my head, I'm like, well, where's this man at? Like, and so I just think about even with my family, even with friends that I've befriended, people are constantly showing me how they feel about me. And it's like the more that I didn't love myself, the more that I would gravitate toward people who don't love me either. And I would try to overly prove or overly compensate for them to see how amazing I am, or see how spectacular I am, or see how much of a giver I am, or see how much of myself I'm willing to give in order to reciprocate something. And so I wanted to share. I'm always sharing my life as a teachable moment because between last year and this year, I really honed in on self love, and I even did a little short that said, "Love yourself first, because if you don't, you'll always be chasing after people who don't love you either." And that comes directly from my life experience, and I've spent so many years of my life chasing after people who don't love me, pretending that they do, or just loving what I can do for them, not actually loving me and my personality and my characteristics and the things that make me me. And if I could save anyone, those are my words, those are my advice to help someone else not suffer, to help somebody else really lock in on the person that they see in the mirror every single day and be able to differentiate between people who like you, people who like you for your personality, for your characteristics, people who don't want anything from you, people who don't operate from money hungry, manipulation, controlling, quid pro quo kind of energy. And it's like, now that I've completely freed myself from this chapter in my life, and then just reflecting and ruminating on my entire life up until this point, this year, God has put me in a place, He's planted me in a lot of different places. At the beginning of the year, I spent several months living on a farm in the boonies, far away from anybody, and with strangers that were absolutely nice and amazing to me and my daughter, and didn't want anything from us, and went out of their way to help us. And even now in my travels of taking 2 or 3 buses and walking and being here at the library every day. Every day I come into this library, the people that work in here, they're so happy to see me. The lady that works here, she has a gift for me every single day. Every single day she has a gift for me, or she thought about me, like, oh, India, look, I thought about you. Um, this morning, today, or she gathered resources. Like, she made this for me. We actually made it together. It's lavender. She was like, oh, I was in the garden and I remember how much you like lavender. So I picked some lavender, and you're always reading. So let's make a natural bookmark. And I was like, oh, you're always thinking of me. And so this year, it has really set in for me to be stripped and removed of everything that I thought that I wanted, the kind of people that I wanted, the kind of relationships that I wanted, and it has really aligns me to be able to see the people that are for me, the people who just are excited when I walk in a room, their face lights up, they welcome me, they hug me, they embrace me, they talk to me, we share stories authentically, and it's just an equal exchange of happiness, of how you doing today, how you feeling today, how's your daughter. I mean, I just was not getting that from the person I spent 11 years with, from his family, from my family, from people in business that I met that I thought I wanted to, you know, have these long-term relationships with, and then the direction that I thought my life was going. As much as it hurted to really get punched in the face by, wow, there's these people in business that I've been connected with, and there's snakes in the grass, and there are people trying to set me up or sabotage my business. And then here's this person, I've been sleeping with the devil, I've been sleeping with the weapon that's formed against me. I almost lost my life, I almost lost my brain, I almost lost who I was as a person. I almost lost my daughter. And then I really got a hard lesson as to who my family was and how they really feel about me. And it's just like that Mike Tyson quote of everyone, how does it go? Everyone something. And so they get punched in the face. Like, I felt like I got punched in the face, punched in the gut. I got stabbed. I got shot. I felt everything all at once. And it was so hard to pick myself up from that. And it was so hard for me to really just live in that reality of, wow, I've been around devils and demons and snakes and wolves a big part of my life. And a lot of them, I grew up with them. And then a lot of them, because I didn't have the self love that I thought I had, I gravitate towards more people who are just like that. And I picked these kind of people based on how I felt about myself, unbeknowingly, too. Like, sometimes you're not conscious to like how you are, or your trauma, or your suffering, or being in alignment with why you keep meeting the same kind of people, why you keep having the same kind of experiences. The more you have those things, the more you think that's normal. And the more you hear something over and over and over, the more you'll start to believe that that's just how life is and that's just how people are. And you fall into that slump of becoming those same kind of people, becoming miserable, becoming waking up hating the day, not looking forward, not want to talk to people, not want to converse, not want to be friendly. You start to become those people because you're surrounded and that's all your life experience is. And negativity will always outweigh positivity if you're the only positive thing trying to uplift all these things that are dead, uplift all these things that are negative, naysayers, negative Nancy's, pessimists, narcissists, manipulators, all that stuff. So I wouldn't change anything that I've went through because through suffering comes strength, and your strength builds your faith and builds your relationship with God. And once you have a relationship with God and you really lock in, God will align you to these kind of people that are looking for you, that would just love you for who you are, not looking to gain anything, not looking to set you up, not looking to wish bad on you. And will always speak highly of you, will always speak highly of you when you're not in the room, will always uh, be having a listening ear for opportunities or resources or tools. It's just amazing the shift that happens when you really own and acknowledge the suffering, because a lot of your suffering is self-inflicted by the lies that we tell ourselves and by the lack of accountability that we want to take part in, because it always takes two. Always dying every time I do a live. It always takes two. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that for myself, it has taken me a long time to really understand what I just broke down. But because it took me so long and because I suffered with this, let me see if I can get my other headphone. Suffered with it so long, I can easily identify it in other people. Like how I seen that lady at the park on Sunday. And everything in my life wanted to like say something to her or save her or give her some advice. And I'm just like, all I could do is say a prayer for her babies. Because one thing that haunts me is when I was locked up and when I was fighting for my life and fighting for my daughter and doing what I do best, advocating, speaking up for others before I speak up for myself, but finding myself in that situation of like, this person is doing this to me. They created a narrative and I'm not what they're saying I am, and I don't belong here, and I don't know where my kid is, and all this stuff. And I remember the doctors saying to me that I'm not the only woman that goes through this, and it's very common and popular. And I was so disgusted because I'm like, well, what about the women that go through it and they don't make it out? What about them? And they're like, yeah, there's a lot of those cases too. And I just refuse to become one of those cases, because you see how people just like brush it off. Like, you could be dead and people will not care. They will just continue to live their lives. And I got a rude awakening as to just how much people wanted me dead. People wish that I was dead. People would just move on with their life, whether I was dead or alive. And that was my rude awakening. And I did a video on that too, of when you have rude awakenings in life, you have to ask yourself, what are you going to focus on? The rude part or the awakening? And I've spent a lot of time in my personal life focusing on the rude, the rude, the rude. But you just got to focus on the awakening and see people for who they are, situations for who they are, the part that you play, and continue to rise, continue to be better than what's trying to bring you down. And so I reflect on just like a lot of things, man. I reflect on a lot of things, and I always ask God to help me not harp on these those memories as much. I just want to move on with my life. And so when I seen that lady, it brung up so much stuff. And I never mind sharing because my life is an open book. My life is a movie. So I never mind sharing. But something else that I struggle with every day is just thinking about my experience that I went through. That's what I'm saying. That situation that I watched in a couple of minutes brung up so much stuff because it's still very recent to me. This is all from last year leading into this year. I mean, I've just been away from this since March of this year. So it's been an ongoing thing. I think about how God is getting ready to bless me with an unimaginable amount of abundance. It's so big that I can't even fathom it anymore. Like, I can't journal about it anymore. I can't predict it anymore. It's just gonna be so mind-blowing. And that's something that I was saying, is that God's gonna put me on display. So everybody that just played in my face, everyone who just wished me dead, everyone who played a part in being silenced in my suffering, everyone that played a part of laughing and being entertained by my cry of help, by me not caring and saying, hey, I'm being harmed, I'm being abused, I'm being poisoned, hey, my daughter is being poisoned, I don't know if we're gonna make it to tomorrow. Like, how? And I got nothing. I think about how sad I'm going to be when God blesses me and I have to use the blessings that God gives me to bless other people, and the people that I want to bless, the people that should get the blessings, the way that I would give them, because I'm just naturally giver, are not going to get them. Like, I'm still going to bless them just because of who they are, but not how I would have had these things not happen and really opened my eyes and shown me, wow, these people don't deserve absolutely anything, if I'm being honest. But they definitely don't deserve me. They don't deserve my daughter. They don't deserve the success that God's gonna bless me with. And that's why a lot of stuff hit a plateau, and why things didn't grow to the fruition of how they should, and the success that I was building with this family that I was trying to create, and from the family that I come from. God said no, because I know how you give. I know how you do. I know how you overly give to make people love, and these people don't love you no matter how much you give or no matter how much you do, and you've spent your whole life doing that. So you don't need to get blessed with an insane amount of abundance for you to over pour more than you've ever been pouring for people who will just take it and still talk shit about you. You see what I'm saying? And so I get upset. But when I get upset and when those blessings come, and I have to face these people that are on my list, that I have to bless with a little something, just because that's who I am, I'm gonna remember things that I remember is my brother, who I've spent a majority of my life like fighting for and advocating for, and loving as my big bro, has never been there for me, has never advocated for me, never fought for me, never stuck up for me, never taken my side. And so when I shared that story about me in the hospital, like, I reached out to people, and like I said, I got nothing from my brother. And then my brother didn't come to my baby shower. He didn't celebrate me bringing in his first and only niece. And then I was harmed by this person, and my brother decided to not only help his sister, but to not even, when I was frantic on the phone, like, I don't know where my daughter is, and my daughter's being harmed, and he lives right down the street from me, he didn't try to calm or console me and say, you know what, I'll go over there and check. I'll go check on her and see what's going on, and get, like, nothing. There's, like, nothing that cost money for him to do. He didn't do it because for some odd reason, my brother has these ill feelings about me. I don't know why. And I've spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. And then when it comes to my daughter, I can't try to spend or invest any more time. So my feelings get hurt when I think about, wow, I almost just lived my life, and then I was like locked up, and I was trying to prove everything that I said was saying was true. It all came to fruition. It all came true. And then you didn't even check on my daughter for me. You didn't even say, yo, I hear you, like, let me get involved. Everybody decided to just be like, I'm gonna mind my business. And so when I have to bless my brother, I've written little messages on my envelopes. I'm gonna give them all money because that's all that they care about. But I've written little messages, and I'm just gonna do what God told me to do and move on with my life, and wish them well. But it's the same with my sister. My sister pretended to take down my information and went and called the cops for me. Went and called the cops for her only niece, and she also didn't come to my baby shower. And I have to like pull teeth to get them to celebrate my daughter or like check in with her or any of this stuff. And I was the total opposite. Like I always was the cool auntie and always taking my nephew somewhere and doing something with them and being heavily involved in their life without having someone to ask me. And so just I have to, every day I'm faced with thinking about these memories that with time are getting further and further away. But I definitely ask God to speed up the process of not having it so heavily in the forefront of my brain, because it really does bother me. And there's a book that I read last year, because I have a really hard time forgiving people when they cross me. Like I give people chance after chance after chance to cross me, but then when they really cross me, I just usually like write people off. Even this, when I see ambulances, I am so triggered because I was locked in. Oh my gosh, so many triggers. Anywho, I said all of that and shared all of that to say and to help you recognize that people will treat you exactly how they feel about you. People will talk to you at the level of how they look upon you. And it's up to you to have that discernment. It's up to you to have the self-love to be able to recognize and to not dedicate any of your time, effort, energy, or money to people who do not deserve it. And it doesn't matter who they are. A lot of these people that I'm talking about are my blood family. My mom, my dad's no longer here, but he's included in that too. My brother, my sister, my step family that I grew up with. Everybody played in my face last summer, and I was like, wow, I really didn't know how low y'all thought about me, and I didn't know how much you wished negativity upon me and my kid. I didn't understand. And that's why this situation had to happen, to really open my eyes, to remove benefit of the doubt, remove being naive, remove being gullible, remove saying I gotta love these people because of I grew up with them or they're my, like, you have to remove that filter. And I don't like filters. I don't use filters, but you gotta remove that filter. You have to remove the love for people that you got for them and they don't got it for you. You gotta learn to remove that love quick before you end up 6 feet under. And so that's why I always share the messages that I share at the end. Those are like near and dear to my heart, and I'm gonna always forever say them at the end of my messages. But let's check in. Do you guys have anything to say or any feedback? If not, I'm gonna wrap it up and go on with my day. Oh, it's just you, Eric, giving me love about my hand gestures. Also, this is my favorite color, yellow. I love yellow. I love the sun, and I just feel like it The color yellow was made for black women, okay? It was made to like really bring out your melanin even more, attract just like luck and abundance and prosperity to you. I got a lot of compliments today. I just got a lot of people going out of their way to ask me, hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling today? Like, it's just something about the color yellow. And also, it's my favorite color. And it's also the color of sunflowers. And sunflowers are my favorite flower. So, y'all don't got nothing for me today. Y'all not engaging my people. My regs are not on. That's okay. It's the internet, so the video will be here for anyone who wants to check it out. And thank you for letting me read my list. Thank you for letting me use my life as a teachable moment on my daily India talks. And let me know if you want me to read that poem that I wrote to this man. My quantum about how I couldn't compete. I realized I couldn't compete with him and his phone. Let me know if you're checking this video out later after I post it. So that's that. I will leave you with my 3 heartfelt messages that are near and dear to my heart, that come directly from my life, my trauma, my suffering, my survival. And I hope that when you hear them, they really help provoke thought and then help you to take action in some way, shape, or form in your life as you see fit to help you navigate time, navigate your future, condense time, condense your future, and condense you get into the life that you deserve, which is why I always say turn your life into a lifestyle. So number 1, don't allow people to label you. This includes yourself. If you allow anyone to label you, I'm sorry, those who want to label you want you to live in lack and not your purpose. They see something in you that they don't want you to see in yourself, which is usually your gift, the things that makes you purposeful, the things that will lead to you living a life of abundance. They want you to live and lead with a label so that you will limit yourself, you will live in lack, and you were born to live in your purpose. So don't allow anyone to label you. Number 2, don't ever let anybody put you in a box. Those who try to put you in a box is simply because they cannot get out of theirs. And if you allow anybody to put you in a box, they then will try to put you in a ditch. Ask me how I know. And 3, don't forget to turn your life into a lifestyle. And you do that by simply taking your life into your own hands and participating in your own rescue, because absolutely, positively, nobody is coming to save you. You must save yourself. And if you take the time to tap into yourself more and out of the world less, you in return will save yourself from living the life of the consequence, which is living the life that your parents want you to live, living the life that society tries to create for you to live in, and living the life that the school systems and the job systems try to program you to live within. You were not born to simply work a job and pay bills and die. No, sir, no, ma'am. You were born to live your purpose and your birthright, which is a life of prosperity, abundance, and a life of luxury. And the way to figure out what your purpose is by simply figuring out what problem you were born to solve. We all were born to solve a problem and make the world better when we're here, and more importantly, when we're not, aka your legacy. You're always living for your last name. You're always living to add weight to your name. You're always living to be the head and not the tail, and to make the next people that come behind you better than you, the person that's in front of them. So the sooner you learn what problem you were born to solve, you will automatically live in your abundance. You will automatically attract the wealth you are supposed to have, the abundance you are supposed to have, the prosperity you are supposed to have, and that lifestyle that you are supposed to have, which I like to refer to as a life of luxury. In my case, particularly a life of laid back luxury and quiet wealth. Because that's where God is aligning and taking me and my daughter to our Paraclete. And on my way there, I will share everything I'm going through in order to continue to show people that your reality doesn't matter what you're going through today. You always should be focused future forward. You always should be talking about solutions and not your problems. I know it kind of sounds like an oxymoron when I say figure out what problem you were born to solve, but you figuring out what problem you were born to solve is your job. It is your job to figure out how to solve problems for other people, and not multiple problems, just one problem that can solve for a plethora of people at the same time. When you're going through your own problems, it is not your job to sit there and worry about and soak in the problems you are physically going through in real time. Because the more you focus on your problems, the more problems you will get. That's why when you're going through something, you always have to focus on solutions. Because when you focus on the solutions, the problems will solve themselves. And there's a really amazing quote, I don't know who it comes from, but I remind myself of that, of when you're worrying about a problem, it's like you're worshiping the problem, because you spend all your time, effort, energy talking about it, soaking about it, wasting time sitting around being sad about it and waiting for it to change, when that's a form of worshiping it, and it makes it last longer than it should have if you just took action, if you just changed your point of view, your perspective, and the things that you're doing to get further away from the problem, if that makes sense. And you always have to be like that, and you always have to have a change of perspective. Something I said in a quote in one of my titles the other day was, start to develop a different perspective for existing experiences. And so that's kind of what I am getting at. So I hope that you have an amazing rest of the day. I hope that wherever you're at, the weather is beautiful, and I hope that you have an amazing dinner or amazing food and something amazing to drink. And keep yourself hydrated. That's important. Get yourself some sunlight. That's important. Feed your mind today. Don't let social media, Facebook be the only book you read today. Take some time for yourself. Practice self-care. Practice self-love. Love on those who love on you. And don't forget, you are both an endangered species and a limited edition. So start acting like it.